Hello everyone, my name is Notepad Addon and I write games for fun. So, what are we doing today? We're going to be working on... Let me just make sure I don't deafen myself with my music, because I do that quite a bit. And today we're going to be working on Tainted Bloodlines. Technically episode 3, but also episode 2, because I did a 1.5 in the middle of the night one day. I meant to stream past 2 nights, but I was an asshole and kept falling asleep at times. And even though this is incredibly late from what I usually do, I decided I should actually stream today. So, here I am. Drinking a really cheap Jack and Coke. So, last time we were here, we worked on the mutation system. How to get actually the mutations and such in place. So, let's see what we still need to work on. Okay, so we have our mutagenetic strains. And because I usually like to keep things relatively on the same. Hi, phone, how are you? Oh, Christ. Okay, so we are going... Okay, we have our character creation. Okay, let's do combat and altercations. Where the... characters are into... Alright. Reminds me of I have to do health and well-being, don't I? Yeah, I should do the health system, shouldn't I? Yeah. So I could either make this very simple or I could make this very complex. I'm going to say fuck it and make it real simple. Health and well-being. As the splicers travel and make a name for themselves, they will hurt, injured, and suffer the consequences for their actions. To reflect the current damage a splicer is suffering, they have a total amount of endurance. A splicer's base endurance is 10 plus 5 times bod. Times bod, so if you have max. So let's take a look at Grimson. So Grimson would have, let's see, so that would be 16, 24, that'd be 34 health at bod 8. But if you had 10, it would be 30, you'd have 40 health. Then it would be 43, 46. So at 20 bod, he'd have 70 health. That's kind of the max amount of health you can end up with. Which reminds me, I should put mutations in to make sure that you can have more health. Oh god. Alright, yeah, I gotta do that then. Is 10 plus 3 times. And displays... and represents The total amount of damage a splicer can endure before collapsing. Before collapsing in pain and dying. Okay, if we do 10s, that'd be 1626. So that would be 30. Having pain and dying. Again, continue to function as long as they have positive endurance. But as soon as it is negative, they have. As soon as it continue to function as long as they have positive endurance. When the character goes into negative endurance, do they enter a recovery coma? During this state, the character is helpless and cannot be. Is helpless and requires rest and recuperation, and requires rest to restore their endurance. And then we're going to probably put a picture right there in the middle. Make it nice and pretty like. And then we're going to add in a section which can be effectively stated to be endurance questions. Like things that could happen to your endurance. Trauma and treatment. Splicers are capricious. Splicers are designed to be able to deal with a vast majority of physical trauma coming toward them due to their inherent genetic state or genetic structure based on survival. However, to compensate, a character must rely on their acquired genetic material to recover endurance. So characters regain endurance on a 1-to-1 scale. On a 1-to-1 ratio with their current genetic material, with their current amount of genetic material they have stored. And now we're going to make a little table little table is going to be... Actually, no, we don't need a table. Let's do Control-Shift-8. Character is resting in a safe location. The characters regain endurance with a ratio depending on their location and current medical treatment. Character resting in a hospital or medical facility. We want to say 1 genetic, 1 GM for 1 endurance. Character on the move and active. 5 GM for 1. Actually, no, it'd be 3 GM for 1 endurance. Character is in a recovery coma. Genetic material for 1 endurance. Up to 1 endurance. There we go, 1 genetic material. There we go. So, let's see. Trauma treatment, resting in hospital. 1 genetic material, 5 genetic material. Characters in recovery coma. And deactive, active. And actually, in certain situations, a splicer may suffer extreme trauma. Which would normally put them into the negative for endurance. Negative for endurance. They suffer an injury, which would normally put them into negative endurance, but instead they may suffer a trauma. A trauma is when the character suffers a debilitating injury that hampers their current ability to function. Trauma can be assigned to any when suffering trauma. The character can either, when suffering trauma, the character must choose what they sacrifice. A limb, attribute score, or skill penalties. Actually, or skills. Repeated injuries can severely cripple a character. Actually, a character restores 10 endurance. Restores 10 endurance for each trauma they suffer during this time. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put an insert footnote. For example, a character would normally be reduced to negative 13 endurance. They would need to take 2 trauma to recover, to get back to 7 endurance. This could be reflected in a severed arm and a negative 1 to body. So now you see the advantage of having more things. Actually, what I may do is I may just do. There we go. Put a picture like right there. So trauma and treatment. Oh wait, that reminds me I should add a side note. The chunky salsa and horrific pain claws. There will come points where the characters are suffering from an ailment that they cannot simply use trauma to get rid of, to ignore. For example, if the character is laying on an explosive device, they will be dead. Very dead. This also goes for times when the character will be taking completely lethal damage while they are helpless. They will be killed and have no way to retaliate. The general rule of thumb is follow the narrative. There is a situation that story-wise makes sense. Go with that rather than follow the rules on a one-to-one basis. The rules are here to facilitate an interesting story, not dictate how the world functions. Actually, what I can do, perfect. And we want to get rid of all of these. And internals. The bloody hell. Internals. Base endurance plus 10. And base endurance minus 10. Resistance to status effect. Penalty to... What's the opposite of resistance? Susceptibility? Susceptibility. Susceptibility. Resistance to status effects. That's such a weird word. To status effect. And genetic complexity 5. Base endurance -3. Resistance to status effect that, and -3. I'm going to have to fix all of these goddamn tables, and it's going to annoy me till I do. So, base endurance, the internal organs at a higher than average state, allowing for the continuation of life. The continuation of life from more devastating wounds. The character's internal organs are less than satisfactory to the continued their continued health and well-being, often considered being sickly. The character's organs allow the processing of status ailments, processing of certain exterior problems that would normally cause pain. The character's internal organs, the character's organs are not suited for a particular type of problem, causing far more drastic issues than normally. So, the trauma they suffered during this time. Yeah, that'll leave me enough room to put something in here. I might slap something else in there. Base endurance is 10 plus 2 times bod. Okay, which all their skills and knowledge to emerge alive. Soldat sans identité. It's a deadly dance for survival. Forcing characters to react to the situation and success. Back to the situation and know when it is hopeless. Know when it is hopeless and flee. Initiate. Seizing the initiative. Let me see. Let's do their foes and proceed in action. This is why we have these things. It's not formatting. Character started at 6 seconds of time where reaction committed is referred to as the round. When the characters begin, actually, when the characters, how do I want to word this? Yeah. To determine the starting order of initiative. Each character in the battle rolls a d20. Rolls a d20. From there, actually, I'll determine the starting order of initiative. The character with the highest reflexes. With the highest reflexes plus feral. Actually, it should be fur plus reflexes. Acts first. And descends there. And sends from there. If 2 or more characters have the same initiative score, they are assumed to be acting at the same time. From there, the character who has the highest risk score will act first, but both actions will resolve simultaneously. If both characters have the same ref and feral and ref score, then the player character acts first. Player character acts first. If there are 2 NPCs acting at the same time, then the Game Master determines who acts first. Now we get to the actions. So we don't really want Sold Out Sense Identité. We want something a little bit simpler, because we're just doing a fairly simple... Ironically, I'm going to have to use Feast of Legends, aren't I? blood and pride and glory. Oh, hello. That's what I'm gonna have to do, so heading 2, character move 25 feet in any direction. They must make a reflex versus body check. A reflexes versus bod check to determine if they are able to. If they fail, they are attacked. Okay, so we want to select all of you, hit Control A. Control A, not Control A, Control Shift 8. And, okay, active ability. And their abilities. New. Okay, so let's take this our basic ideas. Attack, defend, delay, maneuver. That works. And refocuses. They add their feral to their initiative value. I call initiative value. Or initiative, that is initiative. To their initiative, the character uses a tool of possession on the battlefield. Alright. Now we get to things that are a little bit more complex. We don't like complex things. So, actions in combat. Attack. The character makes a dedicated attempt to strike an opponent. Excellent. Strike an opponent using a weapon in their possession. A simple melee. Melee attack. The character rolls a bod skill check. No, that's a bod. Attribute check versus the opposing versus the target. Reflex attribute check. How do I want to do this? I need to have a defense. I gotta double check how actions are resolved. So that would be opposed. Two characters locked in hand, both roll their body attribute. One character successfully clears the challenge while the other fails. The second character is pinned and loses the challenge. Can roll attribute checks with all talent. Both roll the dice. If one party fails the check, they fail the challenge, but if both succeed, then whoever rolled the least is successful. Okay. Then I just have to do that. It's just an opposed check. The rolls in opposed bod versus reflex versus the target's reflex attribute check. If successful, the character deals damage with their weapon. Deals their weapons damage. And then we want to do a advanced melee strike. Rolls an opposed melee weapon. Opposed melee weapon skill check versus the target's dodge ability to I'm going to move gymnastics and replace it with dodge. Only 2 incomings. Dodge, ability to move gracefully, ability to avoid objects and attacks thrown at the character. You know what? We're going to instead of having a dedicated, like, here's the dodge thing. So we want to do versus the targets, go all the way up. It's going to be acrobatics, athletics, melee weapon, or brawl skill. Versus the target's acrobatics, athletics, acrobatics, contortionist, or gymnastic skill. If successful, the character deals their weapons damage and their advanced. Their weapons damaged in the advanced category. No, deals weapons damage. I'm going to have to make resolving damage fairly fast. I know that with using this system. Ranged attack. Rolls in oppose reflex. Versus the target's reflex attribute. reflex versus reflex. Attribute check. If successful, the character deals their weapons damage to the target. Advanced. Rolls in opposed ranged weaponry. Weaponry skill check. Versus the target's acrobatics, contortionist, gymnastics. Yeah, if successful characters deals weapons damage to the target. Not exactly the most elegant solution, but again, I'm hacking Mutant, the Megaversal system for this, so I'm not exactly looking to be the most elegant goddamn system around. Control Shift I, Control I. Because what I'm thinking about doing for weapons is stealing an idea I found. I thought would look pretty neat. Was pretty much each weapon. So each weapon would have like do XDX. Usually it's like XDX damage, but you can have it's high, medium, or low. Well, low, and it's just like which damage dice you actually do. Yeah, it's ideas. I still need to do it, and dealing out health is going to be a little higher. I might have to increase the damage across the board, but I don't quite know yet, because I'm not there. We're working just on how to make combat work, which is completely different. Defend. Alright. The character ups to defend themselves from an incoming attack. They gain a +2 to their attribute, to their actually defending attribute, as well as a +20% to a defending skill. Okay, so all character. I don't want to do a single action per turn. Why do I want to go to a 2-action? Do I want to do a 2-action system or? Actually, you know what? I'll give a character a little bit more leeway with actions. All characters can use angle action on their turn, but may expend 5 endurance. But may expend 5 endurance to perform a second action. If a character Actually, what I should say is a character cannot perform the same action. Yeah, a character cannot perform the same action. Yeah, makes 5 endurance to perform a second action. Yeah. Kind of an incentive, like, hey, burn it so you can use more. Actually, what I should do is second action. From there, character may expend 10 endurance for third action, and so forth. Pretty much, you can use it to burn as many actions as you want, as long as you have endurance, as long as you have health. You're able to keep doing actions, but... So, let's take a look up here. If we're using this as an example, 10 plus 2 times bod. So, let's say you have 10 bod. So, you're going to have, effectively, 30 health. So, if I want to perform 3 actions in a round, I'm immediately going to be at half health. Like, that's just for one round of turn, one round of 3 actions. So, not exactly the most pertinent use of action. Does effect does stack if using the action multiple times. The character willingly lowers their initiative to a point between their current amount and 0. Performs complex action. I should put a note down here. Complex action. Control C. And we're going to... What am I thinking of? We want to do the where the light fades softly. We want to do updated. Hello, thousands of godforsaken. Hello, godforsaken things. I signed up for a few new Discords, for those who don't know, and they're loud. They keep posting things, and it's all about D&D, and I fucking hate D&D. D&D is trash. Hot takes with Notepad on. Let's see. I should add. Actually, you know what? I'm going to remove that. So I can then add this section right here. And so I can then... the short distance, put in the SDs, and then put in space distance. Really, SD to grids. There we go. What the hell is going on outside? Please shut up. Be gone. Firing into a brawl zone. Actually, I should just take this one. Alright. I think that works for what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually make heading 3 a simple versus advanced attacks. One may notice there is a difference between using a skill and using an attribute to make an attack. The intended purpose of this is to reflect the skill required to pull off impressive feats of violence against others. When the character chooses to make an advanced attack, they may choose one of the options below to augment the attack, allowing them to add additional quirks, add additional aspects to their attack, as well as punish opponents who are less skilled in the arts of war. And why do I keep pressing that button? There we go. Your aims for a specific part of the body with an intent to maximize damage. The character ignores armor. Ignores the target's armor. The character ignores the target's armor for the attack. Feint. The attacker fakes out their opponent and disorients them, reducing. Actually, cleave. The attacker makes a large swing with their weapon with the intent of attacking multiple targets. Each target makes a separate defense roll. With a plus 10% bonus. Let's see, aimed attack. Weapon skill. The attacker uses one of the quirks of their weapon to allow them use one of the quirks of their weapon. The attacker uses one of the quirks of their weapon to maximum effect, allowing the use of an advanced attack with said weapon. They increase one of the tags on their weapon by 2. Savage. The attacker unleashes a barrage of attacks on a single target. If successful, the character is allowed to make a second attack on the same target for no endurance cost. Oh, which reminds me, feint. I know what to do about this. The attacker uses their attack to disorient and confuse their opponent. Allowing them to make a second. Actually, I should say, doing no damage, but allowing them to use a second action. Use a second action against the now disorient allowing them to use a second action against the target who cannot retaliate. Footnote: for example, running away from them, as they cannot attack you. They cannot attack the character as they flee, or attempting to trip them. Oh, I know. Glory kill. The attacker makes the attack as normal, but if they successfully strike and kill the target, and actually I should say down the target, the attacker regains +5 endurance. We want to do add-on sort of paragraph AZ. Attacking multiple targets up to half. Actually, attack multiple targets. Attacking up to 3 targets within reach. Actually, I should say cleave melee. Oh yeah. If attacked again, the target suffers a +20 to their skill roll. Actually, I should say +10 to their skill roll. Actually, suffers a -10% to their skill. Like 20% to their skill. It's harder. Space distance. Okie dokie then. Huh. Now we get to go back here. Let's open up Feast of Legends, the Clapback edition, just to check the weapons out. And actually, let's see, how long have we been streaming? We've been streaming for about 1 hour and 10 minutes now. I'm going to probably call it there, as I need to decide how autistic I want to get with the weapons, because on one hand, I want to get real autistic. On the other hand, I don't really want to get autistic, because that'll take a long time. So, thank you all for watching, as always. And hopefully there won't be as a big delay between stream 2 and 3 as there was last time. So hopefully we'll get to that next as soon as possible. So thank you all very much. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Goodbye.